Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Jerry Conway, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Sorry, kids, I don't have an Alan Moore intro. I wish I did. If anyone can make that happen, please do. But yes, kids, welcome back. Lilith is still on vacation, but this week we're getting, this week and next week we're getting the Will's picks. And since, yes, we've strayed outside the Justice League and Justice Society frame here, yes, I've decided we'll bring back Comic Capers for 2 episodes. So William, do you want to tell the people what you picked for your first week and why you picked this?
Oh
yeah, by the way, I'm Phil. He's Will.
Yeah, hi, I'm Will. A couple years ago, I think it was a couple years ago, some guy whose favorite character is Batman.
Who, Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Batman, my favorite character.
He had me on his show, and we were talking about Desert Island Comics. And, you know, I've kind of had a list in my head, sort of like, oh, I like that story, I like that story. And he said, well, I want your top 3. I'm like, holy crap, that's a hard list to make. But I said, okay, cool. Let me go ahead, and I'm going to just start writing down stories that I remember, you know, that have stuck with me, right? And there's some good stories. I think I did a top 20. But one of those stories was Tom Strong number 3, which is the, what is it, Aztec? What's the name of that one?
It was something Aztec, but it's like tech, like Tuch, or
yeah. Aztec Knights. There we go. And it illustrates something in philosophy called the prisoner's dilemma, right? If you're held prisoner and you narc on the other person, you get to go free, but they don't. If you don't narc and they narc, you don't go free and they do. But if neither of you narc, you both go free. So ultimately, trust is better. Trust that they're going to not sell you out, and they trust that you won't sell them out. That leads to marginally better outcomes. Trust is best, which resonated with me apparently from many years ago. So that's one of those stories that was on that list, and I said, you know what? I reread it, and I reread it again for tonight, and I really, really enjoy that. The other thing, Tom Strong is written by Alan Moore, who's phenomenal. I mean, he's sometimes he's done something like in Promethea. He has a 2-page spread where it's the infinity symbol, and you can join the conversation at any point around it, and it just works. I'm like, that's just showing off, right? I mean, that's just showing off. But he's obviously a wonderful writer.
Yes.
And Chris Sprouse, I have been in love with his art since he was on Legionnaires and Legion of Superheroes, and we talked about some of those issues a long time. Was that last year when we talked about that?
Legion last year? Yes, it was last September. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So that's why I came with this story. And now the other story is going to be from Global Frequency. It's by Warren Ellis. It's issue number 12 by Warren Ellis, and Gene Ha does the art. Gene Ha's an amazing artist as well. I think we did an issue of Green Lantern because he did one back before Emerald Twilight when we were going through some of those early issues on Sector 2814. But the final issue of Global Frequency has the Global Frequency team dealing with something that could potentially end life on Earth, and just the way they deal with it. And there's some speeches that there's a speech that one character gives at the end that really resonated with me. And this is a book that I read and reread all 12 issues multiple times for work with my dissertation. So I studied it a lot. And again, this final story really, really stuck with me on Global Frequency number 12. So that's the one we'll be doing next time.
Yeah. So, but yes, this time we have Tom Strong 1 through 3. So yeah, do we want to jump into this?
Let's do it.
Yeah, because like I said, this is my first time reading these. So yeah. All right. So yes, we'll start off with Tom Strong number 1. There we go. From June 1999, How Tom Strong Got Started. So, yeah, right to the point. Writer Alan Moore, like you said, penciler Chris Sprouse, inker Al Gordon, colorist Tad Ehrlich, letterer Todd Klein, and editors Scott Dunbar and Eric DeSantis. All right.
Hardcover.
And it's literally how he got started. It's like, how he was conceived.
Exactly. Here's the cover of the non-Alex Ross cover, I think.
Oh, that's nice. I like that one too.
And then there's the Alex Ross cover.
Yeah, because I was on the DC app. These are on DC Universe Infinite. Everyone, but, okay. So yeah, it had the Alex Ross cover. Yeah, I didn't even see the other one.
Nice. So yeah, this came out of this was the debut book from Alan Moore's ABC Comics line, America's Best Comics line of comics that was published by Wildstorm as part of as part of another imprint, I think, and then DC bought them. And
DC got all the Wildstorm, yeah.
And Moore was never going to work for DC again, but he still did the ABC stuff because he wanted to finish. Anyway, long story. But it kind of led off ABC. Now, ABC consisted of Tom Strong, Tom Strong's Terrific Tales, Top 10, which, again, that's by Alan Moore and Gene Ha, which was everybody in Neapolis. I think Neapolis was a city, is a superhero city. Then you have a police precinct that's full of superheroes that are cops. And very well done series. Then he also did, I mentioned Promethea earlier. He did that with J.H. Williams, phenomenal artist on that. And then he did Tomorrow Stories, which had it was an anthology book that had like Jack Be Quick, which was kind of a cool little thing with Kevin Nolan. And then he had, I can't remember some of the other characters in there. Gray Shirt, I think, was kind of like a Spirit-esque character. But yeah, it was, so there were 4 titles, and I think Tom Strong lasted the longest and did 36 issues, but they naturally came to an end because he told the stories that he wanted to tell with all of them. So nice little universe that you can collect.
Nice. All right, so How Tom Strong Got Started. Timmy Turbo is a young boy from a futuristic city, Millennium City, who is a very big fan of Tom Strong. During his commute to school via cable car, Timmy reads from a Tom Strong magazine outlining the hero's origins. But while he reads, and unbeknownst to Timmy, Strong foils an attempted raid on the car carried out by blimp bandits. When the two meet face to face following the incident, Timmy can hardly believe it. The following story of Tom Strong's early life was told within Timmy's magazine. Strong was born at around the start of the 20th century to 2 ingenious inventors, Sinclair and Susan Strong, who set out for a remote island, free from the influences of the outside world, where they could raise their children as well as conduct their research. This island was called Adabar Taru, and it was home to a mysterious tribe called the Ozu. The chief of the Ozu became very close to Mr. and Mrs. Strong, and after an earthquake killed his parents, Tom was taken in by the tribesmen. Due to his parents' earnest efforts since he was born, Tom was endowed with super strength and exceptional intellect. Also due to his strict diet of a root called guluka, Tom gained increased longevity. In a few years following the deaths of his parents, Tom was able to implement vast technological advancements to the island's infrastructure and greatly modernized the Ozu's standard of living. When he reached his early 20s, he and it's supposed to be it's with a P, but Newman? Yeah,
Newman.
An android created by Sinclair that had a hand in raising Tom since he was born, leave the island for the first time and set out for America. After spending long enough to make a name there, fight crime for a while, as well as battle the likes of Savine and Ingrid Weiss, Tom decides to return to Adabar Taru so that he can marry Dula. Is it Dula? The chief's daughter.
I think so.
Very many years later, Tom has reached an age of a little over 100 years, but due to the effects of the Goloka root, he doesn't look a day over 50. Together, Tom, Dula, Telsa, Tom and Dula's daughter, King Solomon, a vastly intelligent gorilla, and Newman make up the Strong Men of America. King Solomon has been reviewing applications for a new member of the group, and Timmy is ultimately selected.
Yeah, that's their fan club, I think.
Yeah, because didn't he?
Strong Men of America. Yeah.
Does he say? Is it next issue where it's like, yeah, you get the magazine, you get a ring or something, or
you don't get the signed photo because they created the modular man. Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted a signed picture of Dula because she's really attractive. So
she's
and
built.
Nerds.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I mean, I like this. Like, I wasn't familiar at all with Tom Strong. I remember seeing this like years and years ago, and I was just the name Tom Strong and like his appearance in that. I don't know why, but maybe I just didn't research enough. But I was thinking more like a Superman-esque character, I guess.
Well, he does have that square jaw,
the dark hair, the square jaw,
yeah.
And just he's built like almost like Superman, yeah.
He's almost built. He's almost. Like a pre-superhero character, like the Pulps.
Yeah.
Like Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze and stuff like that. So he's got a real kind of pulp pre-superhero feel to him, but then he's got all these gadgets and technology and all this stuff, which is really cool. I do want to point out one thing in the issue. It just shows the range of Chris Sprouse as an artist, is that Timmy Turbo is specifically drawn really, really cartoony, right? Versus, very realistic Tom Strong and the rest of everything. And also, we have to give props to the letterer, because you'll notice that Timmy's, the word balloons for Timmy are shaped differently, and I think this is a callback to some of those early comic strips, but I don't know this for a fact. But his word balloons are shaped differently than the modern word balloons that Tom Strong and everybody else gets, which I thought was just really. There's so many layers to this. It's just really it's fun. I mean, it really is.
You could tell you could tell it's like a labor of love and just I don't know. It struck me with this first issue. It's kind of like a more modern retelling almost of like Tarzan even.
Yeah, exactly. It's that pulp feel, because
just
obvious Tarzan
being raised in like this pre-industrial civilization and stuff. Yeah.
And I just have one more thing to say. Holy socks!
Watch your mouth.
But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a great introduction. I mean, if anybody knows how to write the first issue of a comic, it's Alan Moore, and this one we get the storytelling is just so crisp and clear. There's a lot of 7-panel pages. There's that splash page, Welcome to the Strong Men of America, which has the whole Tom Strong family there. And, with Dula and Tesla and Newman and, I forget the ape's name.
Oh, King Solomon.
Name? King Solomon, yeah. But, the fact that he's been around since, 1901 was his birthday, I think, or something like that.
Well, yeah, it was like a little over 100. It said it was over 100, but I think he says even in the third issue, isn't he like just over 99 or something? Because this was 1999, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's that, and that's not an accident. That's more saying, hey, I'm going to want to play with 50s sci-fi comics. Boom, we can have Tom Strong in a 50s sci-fi comic, right?
Exactly.
Or I want to 70s horror, or all of the breadth of comics history, right? He can mess with, because Tom Strong has been alive during all of that, so we can have adventures that mimic a golden age tale, or a grim and gritty tale from the 80s or the 90s, right? That certainly Moore knows a thing or two about. But I love the art, and I love the story. It's such a fun book, and I remember looking forward to reading it every month. Picking it up off the stands as it came out. I
mean, I don't know. This book is probably too lighthearted for that, but like I know when Lilith and I have talked with D.G. Chichester before, because he wrote some Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. issues. And I just like, what about a story where it's just like, because again, there have been several different ways, like Infinity Formula and stuff, like we're keeping Nick Fury alive. And it's just like, what about a story where it's just like, you know what, I just want to die and they won't let me die. They need me to save the world or do whatever, and they just won't let me die. Yeah.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It might be a little dark for Tom Strong, but
channeling Cyborg Superman, right?
Kind of, yeah. But you're not that like you're not like a serial killer. You're more like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing about this, I love how he gave, this fictional city has its own presence. It looks different than other cities. It has these, raised cable cars that go around, with blimp bandits, and he has a helicopter that he straps to his back. I mean, it's cool fun, right?
Oh yeah.
But we figured we would do the first three.
Yes.
But this gives us kind of the background on what to expect when we get to number 3. But anything else? This is your first time introduced to the world of Tom Strong. What are your thoughts?
I found it very interesting. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was the only thing I found is you didn't get like a ton of like current Tom Strong in the first issues. Again, it is an origin issue and stuff, but it's just basically you're getting him like battling off to the side here as like Timmy's reading the issues like, oh wow, he loves Tom Strong. Meanwhile, Tom Strong's 6 inches from
right
him.
There. Yeah. I do. I love and I don't know this, but so Grant Morrison at the end of All-Star Superman has Superman in the sun, kind of at the Forge in a very similar. I don't know if this, influenced that, but that's a very kind of primal image. I love it. It works so well.
Oh yeah.
A hammer at the Forge, making cool stuff.
Yeah, that's always like is that like is that like a not as big comic trope? But it's like I swear we've got like Tony Stark like making armor or like that same. But yeah, it's like
yeah.
I'm sure we've probably had Thor in that.
The maker.
Yeah. Yes.
The maker.
Yes.
Right. Yep. Pretty cool.
All right. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it for my first read through, and I'm glad we did like the first 3 issues, because if I just jumped in at 3, I still would have liked it, but I don't think I would have appreciated it as much if I hadn't got like the origin and yeah.
And number 4, we're not going to get to number 4, but it has an Arthur Adams cover, and it's got evil. Well, you don't have to say evil; it's assumed. It's got Nazis, so Tom Strong fighting Nazis, which is cool.
I know. I did see the cover of 4. Yeah, and I was like, like busty Nazis. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yep, that's the way Arthur Adams draws them.
Yep. All right. So should we do the second one?
You bet.
All right.
Which has an awesome cover as well.
Yeah. Oh, they all do. I liked all of these covers. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I got it. I'll put that up while I'm doing the credits. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, I do have that.
You have the power.
That's why you should watch the YouTube, kids. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, that is. Love that cover. Yes, Tom Strong #2 from July 1999. Return of the Modular Man.
I love, and this cover. It's got People in Science special report on Tom Strong. So it's like a science magazine, right? He's a science hero.
Exclusive pictures of these Tom Strong creations: 2-man jump jet, classic motor car, space-going hyper saucer, which we'll see.
The grapple gun.
Does it still work? You invented it in the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Alan, I think, it looks like the same team here. So, Tom Strong, Dula Strong, and King Solomon are in the sewer system of Millennium City in 1987. They're hunting down the last of the modules from the Modular Man with the intent of destroying them and eliminating any danger they pose to the city. Flash forward to June 1999. Tesla Strong is flying a jet to the center of Millennium City, where a disturbance has been reported. She arrives to find an entire building covered with silver plating. One window is exposed with 2 boys leaning out it. Tesla calls up to the boys and begins climbing the plating to the window. Tesla arrives in the room and calls Newman to report that they may have some trouble with the Modular Man. Newman picks up Dula and King Solomon and conveys them to the building. They arrive in time to see Tesla climbing down the building with the two boys. By the time Tesla reaches the ground, the Modular Man's modules have overtaken the entire building, and he announces that he will be taking over the city. As he does so, his modules begin covering other buildings in the city and spreading. A spaceship appears above the city, and Tom Strong announces that he has returned from Venus sooner than he expected. As you do.
Exactly.
He then dives off the ship and into the mouth of the Modular Man. The Modular Man tells Tom Strong that he will die, and Tom Strong tells the Modular Man that he will stop him like he always does. The two compromise. Tom Strong tells the Modular Man he can have Venus if he leaves Millennium City and Earth alone. The Modular Man agrees, lets Strong go, and departs for Venus, using the saucer, yes.
Mm-hmm. The hyper saucer.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the third one, the whole thing with the trust, but here he's like, I can keep stopping you, but what kind of life is that? He's like,
exactly.
He's like, here's a compromise. I'll give you your own planet. Just, leave this one alone.
Yeah. And, it's I think something that both you and I find extraordinarily appealing, because that's what one of our favorite characters, Quasar, likes, before, punching somebody in the face with a really big boxing glove.
Yeah.
He likes, hey, what's going on? Why are, we don't have to fight. What's going on? And that's one of the things I really liked. He talked, what do you want? You want to live? Okay, cool. There's a whole nother planet. Take the hyper saucer. Go. And toward the end of the series, the Modular Man actually returns, and I won't spoil in what way, but it's in a way you would hope.
Okay, good. And I mean, and again, he's showing compassion for this character, which I think is pretty big, considering the Modular Man at this point is what? So this guy downloaded his consciousness in the bits on the internet, and basically, this time these two science students or whatever just downloaded a part into one robot, and it just started multiplying.
Yeah. Which is really cool. I mean, it's an interesting idea, break something down to its component parts and then write or engineer something so that those component parts are rebuilt until you get a certain critical mass that you have yourself back, right? I mean, it's really kind of a cool idea.
Because they were basically just grabbing anything metal and, using that to replicate itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do want to point out that if you look at 1987, which is the first page when they're fighting the speech bubbles, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm not a complete lettering nerd, but I think it's lettered similarly to Bork's in 1987, because if you look at the lettering in the present day, it does look different. Yes, I'm a nerd. I admit it freely.
I mean... Well, yeah, you are a nerd, but...
yeah.
I mean, that is nice, though, too, because it kind of helps,
separate the
transition and kind of visually show you, this is a flashback. And
mm-hmm. Yep. And then we get, there's lots of cool little things in the background. There's the Enterprise D behind the two kids, as they, bring the first one online. And, I think it's interesting, too. Tesla, she got her own kind of one-shot, I think, called The Many Worlds of Tesla Strong. It has art by Arthur Adams, Adam Hughes, Chris Sprouse. It has a whole bunch of, super, super awesome artists in it. But, she's 60, I think, or 50, something like that. And yet she's still the young daughter that, they treat like a teenager, which I think is kind of funny.
Well, again, I mean, too, that is just being a parent. I mean, Will, your sons are adults, and you still, even though, and they physically tower over you, and I'm sure you still treat them like they're children. Yes,
sometimes, yes. And I do love the page where we get, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30 different little vignettes of different robots looking at them. It's page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, page 7, I think. I mean, it's just, Chris Sprouse is amazing. This is all I have to say.
Oh yeah, the whole thing, like especially like when Modular Man had puts the face on the side of the building and stuff, and yeah, or like when Tom Strong dives in and like there's they formed a brain and a physical brain in there, yeah.
And I just think the hypersaucer looks cool too. So
the hypersaucer looks very cool, yeah. And two, I like the word bubbles, when it's supposed to be like, I guess, echoey, and it's
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that was really it. It made you pay attention to what you were reading, so that it did try to visually approximate that echoey, lots and lots of voices speaking at once kind of thing, which was really cool.
Oh, you know what else gave me the Superman vibes? The triangle on his chest. Come on.
Yep. That's true. He's not Superman. He's a science hero.
Exactly, yeah.
And actually, to take a little detour, Alan Moore wrote some really, really amazing Superman stories in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was for a Rob Liefeld title called Supreme, who was a Superman knockoff. But they were really, really good. In fact, I think Chris Sprouse worked with him a little bit toward the end of the Supreme run. But those are Alan Moore. I mean, it's Alan Moore.
Oh yeah, wasn't that Alan Moore too? That Superman story, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Exactly.
Oh, we should have covered that. Yeah, that was like the last pre-crisis story. Yeah.
Yep. And he also did the For the Man Who Has Everything.
Yes. Yeah. And I think there's also one. Was it a DC Comics Presents or something? There was like a Superman Swamp Thing.
DC Comics Presents.
Yeah. Where Superman's like dying. Yeah.
Yeah, he has way more smash hits than other writer out there.
But again,
and number 2 ends with this great this is a life lesson that you can get from this story, right? Which I thought was kind of cool. I mean, this just really great. And I feel like a lot of the ABC stuff has kind of been forgotten in the last couple, last 2 decades, because it's been 20 years.
Over 20 years.
It's been over 20. God, I'm old, Phil. But I don't see a lot of people referring to these. So it's, besides me really loving issue number 3, it's a way for us to talk about something that, I think more people should read, because it is really good.
Oh yeah, and again, it's like if you start at number 1, it's like you don't really know. This is the beginning. You don't have to know any history or backstory or
Nope.
Get it all. Okay, I haven't. Like I said, I only read the first 3 issues so far, so I have to know. So since this is 1999, do they do a Y2K issue?
They kind of.
Oh.
The apocalypse happens.
Oh yeah.
At the millennium. And the apocalypse is not what you think. It has to deal. It's deals with Promethea and what she's doing, because Promethea is really about more exploring magic and the symbology of magic and where it comes from and things like that. And it's brilliant. I mean, it really is. I love Tom Strong more just because it appeals to the 8-year-old kid in me. But Promethea, technically and structurally, is just so amazing. J.H. Williams as an artist is just phenomenal on that book, and Moore does some really, really interesting things. But anyway, Promethea causes the apocalypse. I'll just leave it at that, and you can choose to read on if you want or not.
Nice. Oh yeah, I plan on reading more of this. Yeah,
like I said, I really, really like it.
Again, it's like classic superhero stuff, like you said. Even get back to the pulps and stuff, and
yep, absolutely.
And again, I think Moore went out of his way to say it's not grim, make it too grim or gritty.
Nope, not at all. I mean, but there are some pretty gruesome deaths in the issue we're about to see. But
yeah,
that's don't deal with gods, right?
Exactly. All right, are we ready to get to number 3?
You bet, sir.
All right. All right, so there's the cover. That's another good one there.
Yep, another great cover. Aztec Knights.
All right, so Tom Strong, number 3, August 1999, Aztec, T-E-C-H, Knights. Same team, except we got 2 pencilers, Chris Sprouse and Cully Hamner.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you'll notice on the cover there that it's Aztec spelled as tech. You've got a progress bar that's gold at the top. It's the annexation of the Earth. This is how much progress that has gone. It's lots of cool little things that you'll catch, that just help make these books so great.
Like I said, you could tell, like they were. I think they enjoyed these.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, in a parallel Earth, an advanced and futuristic Aztec empire has been invading and ruthlessly conquering other countless parallel worlds under the reign of. All right, it's spelled weird. Is that supposed to be Montezuma?
Moctezuma.
I don't know, because it's supposed to be like Montezuma or close to it, because doesn't Tom Strong say, oh yeah, on my Earth, yeah, it means like diarrhea or something, it's like a...
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it doesn't look like Montezuma, but he made the joke, so...
Exactly.
So Moctezuma, with assistance from their literal artificial intelligent god, oh lord, Quetzalcoatl 9, who helped in guiding their conquest. Their next expansion is in Tom Strong's world. Tom Strong investigates a strange golden ziggurat that appeared in Millennium Park. He manages to enter the structure, but is ambushed and captured by the Aztecs. He is restrained to a sacrificial altar where he is to be sacrificed to Quetzalcoatl 9. In this case, his intelligence will be fatally and digitally recorded into the artificial god. Resistance is futile, Tom Strong. However, Quetzalcoatl 9 unexpectedly frees Tom in exchange for his help in freeing the AI from his handlers. AI running amok.
Amok.
Remember this in the present day, kids. Following the instructions of Quetzalcoatl 9, Tom destroys the programs restraining the AI, who then proceeds to exact his revenge upon the Aztecs.
Mm-hmm.
With the Aztecs defeated, Quetzalcoatl 9 decides to leave Tom's Earth and return the other worlds to be ruled by their own benign theocracy. Tom had initially believed that Quetzalcoatl 9 would use his newfound freedom to enslave the multiverse, but Quetzalcoatl 9 points out that they both trusted each other based on the prisoner's dilemma, which had achieved better results.
Yep, trust is better.
Yes. All right, so yes, Will, I know you have thoughts on this one.
I just really, I've read about the prisoner's dilemma, and I thought, okay, it's philosophy. How can you make an exciting, interesting story about... Well, I'd never even considered making an exciting or interesting story about the prisoner's dilemma. And yet, here is one right here by Alan Moore. and it's really well done. Quetzalcoatl, I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sure, 9, is particularly fearsome. And, he says, hey, free me. And, then Tom Strong says, what does he say here? I'm not sure. On my Earth, the serpent is often a symbol of guile and treachery. You might have killed me, then gone on to enslave the multiverse. And he says, true. Similarly, once I'd released you from your bonds, you could have simply fled. But I trusted you, and you trusted me. And he says there is a logic problem known as the prisoner's dilemma. It has 2 strategies, trust and betrayal. On balance, a trusting strategy achieves slightly better results. There you go. Trust is logical.
Again, a good message. It tells a good story, and 2, it serves to illustrate that Tom Strong's like an honorable man.
Yep, and really intelligent too. Because he's got those molecular thingies that lets him go inside the ziggurat, right?
Yeah,
and he's smart. And there was one really good line in there from the king or the whatever he was. He goes, the Amero-European is awake. Moctezuma. Not so with us. When Cortez landed, we were waiting for him with machine guns.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
Because they lasted long enough, they could, their technology increased and they were able to, be technologically superior. So, yeah, it was, he says, then we discovered parallel worlds. It's, there's lots of really cool ideas in here, about AI and, a digital god, which is kind of interesting. But, ultimately it's got that kind of, besides the gruesome deaths of the followers there, it's got some kind of a good, good message. It does. It ends on that good message, trust is best.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
This is one of those that just sticks out as one of the stories that just has stuck in my brain.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you there. I mean, I get this again. This was my favorite one out of the three. I see why you like this one.
Yep. I mean, and it's even at the beginning, it's got the lady saying, my husband was out walking my dog. Find my dog. And at the end, she goes, "Oh, look, it's my dog. Oh, and my husband too."
No, I know, that was funny.
There's little tidbits here and there of side characters that have one or two lines, but it reveals so much about them. I mean, Moore is just such a great writer. He's on another level, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they wanted to use his talents for so long, and
absolutely. But that is one of my favorite single issues, Tom Strong #3, Aztec Knights.
Yeah, once again, I'm glad you recommended these, because now I really want to read the rest of Tom Strong, because I really enjoyed these. And again, it's like, if you don't want anything again, I think this was Alan Moore's whole point, but it's like, if you don't want to do the whole grim and gritty stuff, you can,
Yeah, you don't have to. You can.
Yeah, no.
I mean, and it's not that there's not adult things in here, because there are definitely going to be some adult things coming up, as the series progresses, but
people
the tone of it.
Yeah, people are getting their heads ripped off every 2 seconds, and yeah.
Or their arms, I'm looking at you, Jeff Johns.
Exactly. It was just fun comics, kids. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Comics can be fun. They can. But yeah, I think Tom Strong ran 36 total issues. Moore did most of them, but I think there were 4 or 5 issues that he didn't write. I know Jeff Johns, I think, did like a 2-issue fill-in. I'd have to look at the rest. It's been a while, but they've been collected in where are those? They've been collected in regular hardcovers that collect about 4 to 6 issues each. I think there's about 6 of those, and then they've done the oversized, the deluxe edition Tom Strong's. There's 3 of them. Each of these collect 12 issues apiece, so that gets all of them there. I don't think that there's been an absolute Tom Strong, but there has been an absolute Promethea. And I have books 2 and 3. Yeah, I don't have book 1 of that yet. That's on my list to pick up one of these days. But I can say that the Promethea also comes in, individual hardcovers. They've been trades, just like there were trades for Tom Strong. Promethea is, in those absolute editions, you get to see more of the art. Not necessarily more of the art, but the art at a larger size. And J.H. Williams' art is breathtaking in places.
Yeah, I do like J.H. Williams stuff. I remember some of his stuff on Batman and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was on Batwoman for.
Oh yeah, Batwoman too. Yes, I definitely remember Batwoman. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yes, we're very good picks, Will. Not that I'm surprised. I mean, yeah, I did like your suggestions for the Legion stuff last year. So yes, I mean, again, kids, he taught this stuff. He knows.
I'm a nerd. And the other thing is, I have to say, I think Tom Strong's costume is just cool, because it's less costumey, more just this is what I wear. He's got the goggles, he's got the big old knife, and then he's got a gun, and then some pouches on a belt. Not too many pouches, because that's not overkill. But and he's got the little pack that is a helicopter. I mean, he's got lots of really got cool gadgets. He's He's got some cool toys.
Yeah, besides the equipment, I mean, most of it's just, basically just a t-shirt and pants.
Exactly. With the big blue triangle on it. Which is something I thought also was interesting in that because of the tribe, when he they helped him learn how to unlock parts of his mind so that he can focus on controlling pain and things like that, because when he was fighting some of those
yeah. Mm-hmm. What is it? The endorphins or something?
Yeah, release the endorphins so he doesn't feel the pain, so he can keep going and try to get away. It's got some really interesting ideas, and and ultimately, how Tom Strong got started is such a Victorian type tale. It's Tarzan, it's the Jungle Book, it's it's all of those pulp kind of origins for a character. So yeah, I certainly enjoyed it quite a lot.
Like I said, you made a fan out of me.
Awesome. Well, I didn't have anything to do with it. It's all Alan Moore and Chris Sprouse.
Well, you recommended it. I probably wouldn't have even thought to read it if you hadn't recommended it.
There's you might enjoy, and there some of them I enjoy, some of them I don't enjoy as much. But in Tomorrow Stories, you get these little 8-page vignettes of like Jack Be Quick, who's the smartest boy in the world. He puts he puts a speed limit on Light so Light has to slow down through his town. It's just
who is this, Grant Morrison?
It's really weird little fun stories like that. But yeah, you might check it out too. By far, my favorite are probably Tom Strong is my favorite. I think Prometheus the best, but at the time, Top 10 got a lot of attention as well, because it had Top 10 Season 1, Top 10, and it was really structured like a police drama, but everybody was superheroes, and everybody in Neapolis, I think is what it was. The sergeant was a cyborg Doberman Pinscher. Our introductory character, who we are introduced through everything, her name's Toybox, and she has kind of toy gadgets that made her a superhero. And then her partner that she's partnered up with was actually from a fantasy store. It's from a fantasy type land where he had a big sword and he was the hero there. So it's really kind of interesting. And there's a one really good story where I'm sure you've seen it probably done on a like a doctor show or a cop show, where there's an accident and people are dying, they can't be helped, and they're just going to die, but they're kind of stable at the moment. Mm-hmm. Well, they do one of those. It's a teleport accident. There's nothing they can do for them, but they can just be there to comfort them. And it's just it's got all of the ABC comics have a lot of heart. They really do. And it's, again, Tom Strong, my favorite. Promethea, I think, is marginally the best of the series. But they're all certainly worth reading.
They sound fun. I mean, if it's as good as Tom Strong, he sold me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think, let me see. I should have looked this up earlier. I wish I could type. I would be slightly dangerous if I could type. Americas.
It's not a chicken, but he can peck with the best of them, kids.
That's right. All right. Okay, yeah, Wikipedia's got some good things. That doesn't have the actual... I'd forgotten that retroactively, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was kind of added into America's Best Comics.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I don't think they really refer to it much, but it was just, I think it was published under that banner. So let's see. Here we go. Found a reading order out here.
Oh, what, for all the ABC comics?
Uh-huh. Looks like Top 10 has 12 issues. Tomorrow Stories has 6. Promethea has 1 through 6. 12. There was a limited series, Smacks. He's the demi-ogre cop that Toybox has teamed up with. He gets his own 5-issue series. Tom Strong, Tomorrow Stories, and then Tom Strong's Terrific Tales. Yeah, all told, I think it ended in 2010, 2009. So there's not a ton of issues. And I did not know this. There was apparently there have been some continuations past 2005 2005, I think. There's been 2 limited series, but they're not written by Moore, but Chris Sprouse still does the art. It was Tom Strong and the Planet of Peril, and what is the other one? I don't remember that. I'll have to do some more research, but we can put together a checklist of issues or something, or I can do that and shoot it off to you, sir.
Okay, yeah, please.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, any other thoughts on Tom Strong? You are the expert here.
Read more.
I think it's a good message for life. Just read more.
Yep, exactly.
Read more, Alan Moore.
Did not totally mean that, but that is such an awesome pun. I wish I'd have thought of it. But no, America's Best Comics, I think as a line really succeeded, and they're definitely worth reading. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since they came out.
Over 20 years. Well.
Yeah. Shh, Phil, give me this. But yeah, definitely give them a try. They're good books.
Wait a minute. Next year might be 25 years, wouldn't it? I was going to say I might be able to talk Lil into doing something. Maybe the 3 of us can do some next year for the
25th anniversary.
Hey, Will, that's fine. I mean, I'm old too. I always forget that. I'm like, oh yeah, the early 90s was 30 years ago. Ugh.
Well, okay, I may have explained this on like Sector 2814, but to me, growing up, I started reading comics when I was 8, 9, 10,
same here,
regularly. Yeah. And to me, I would look in there and you would see those ads for Mile High Comics, and you would see Fantastic Four #1, Avengers #1. So to me, the 60s are, around 20 years ago. That's when the 60s are. And I'm still in my brain, lodged here. It's like, the 60s are only about 20 years ago. No, they're not.
No.
They're 60 years ago now. And, I've actually slowly been going through and bagging and boarding and a lot of my comics. And I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, that was that new series. No, that was the new series of Aquaman. Yeah, that was in 2005.
Yeah, I do that too. I think maybe it's just from reading comics in the 90s. Anything like after 2000, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the new stuff, and I'm just like, wait, no, wait, how's that new if it's 20 years ago?
Now. Yeah, if we're lucky, we all get older, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, I got depressed when I saw a statistic. They're like, oh yeah, we're as far from the 90s as the 90s were from the 60s when all that Marvel stuff started. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, all of that. And it was like, oh.
Yeah. That's not a kick to the ego at all, is
it? Yeah. All right. So next time, like you said, we're going to cover Global Frequency number 12, correct?
Mm-hmm. And Global Frequency is much more probably adult and grittier take on, just an adult and grittier tone for the book in general. But definitely the last issue. There's definitely some murderation going on that you'll see, and there's a whole lot of stupidity too. We'll talk more about the stupidity that's leading to this latest planet-threatening event that the team has to tackle. But
nice.
I would highly recommend all of ABC Comics. I would also highly recommend all of Global Frequency. They're really done in one issues, and every issue has a different artist. And one of Warren Ellis is the writer. One of the strong suits that he has is he's really able to play to the strengths of whatever artist he's working with at that time. And these stories give this kind of almost like, and I'm going to date myself, early X-Files, from the 90s, of course. But they're investigating these things, and they're a global rescue organization, is what the Global Frequency is. And it's it's a really interesting book, and I think a really well done book, and especially that final issue, which has stuck with me for, God, is this from 2000? When did this book come out, Phil? Is this one over 20 years old as well?
Oh, Global Frequency? Let's say, tell me better, maybe here, I'll look this up. Here we go. Global Frequency number 12, which we'll be covering, 2004.
Yeah.
So,
okay, there you go.
19 years, yes.
So apparently I'm choosing comics from 20 years ago. Gosh, I guess I'm an old now, right?
All this newfangled stuff.
Get off my lawn. Sorry.
All right, so so next week we'll cover Global Frequency. So yeah, if you want to send your thoughts, we'll discuss your Tom Strong thoughts, or send us the Global Frequency thoughts. Again, both of these series are on DC Universe Infinite, so they're easy enough to track down.
Mm-hmm. And we might do some kind of capsule summaries of the first 11 issues, and we can just kind of talk quickly about them, and then we'll dive into number 12 if that sounds all right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me.
All right.
These are your picks. All right, kids. So, so send us all your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise, link to the Patreon. Find it all at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. All right. Mr. Will Allred, master of the Green Lantern Corps, master of the Quantum Zone, master of making your own comics. So he knows of what he speaks, children. So, yes, where can people find you and all your works?
You can find me at Wallred. That's at WALLRED. That can be at Gmail or Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Or Blue Sky, because that's more Twitter-like nowadays, I guess. And Facebook and other social media that I'm sure I've forgotten that I've set up at this point. If you'd like to check out the comics that I write, you can check out Crossover Division at crossoverdivision.com. The hardcover for that will be going to the printer very shortly, so we'll have that back and fulfill that Kickstarter and then launch Crossover Division number 5. On our way to the final issue of number 20. Gonna take me a while, folks, but I'll get there. And if you'd like to check out Diary of Night, you can do that at diaryofnight.com. And finally, you obviously have great taste because you're here listening to Phil and I. We mentioned him earlier in the show. If you love Quasar as much as we probably do, then you can find out more about Quasar at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day. I am God.
Oh, yeah, kids, and if you just stumble across this episode, Will and I also do a Green Lantern podcast, Sector 2814, right here on this podcast feed, or if you're watching this on YouTube, this YouTube channel. So,
we usually do this on the Sector 2814, so I'd not think to mention it because this is what we're always doing.
Exactly, yeah. I just figured since we are doing something a little different, I'm like, yeah, so if you just stumble across this looking for Tom Strong content, yes, if you love Green Lantern, yes, we do a Green Lantern podcast where we go in chronological order. Right now we're at the Sinestro Corps War, so.
Yep, and we started with the Showcase 22, but then we jumped up to the Dawn.
We did a couple, like 3 introductory episodes, then we jumped right to the Green Lantern number 1 from 1990. We've been going straight since then, so.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
134 episodes in, kids. All right. So, thank you for joining us, everyone. Again, next week, Global Frequency. Man, this has flown by. So, yeah, next week we'll be back, and then after that, Lilith will be back.
That's right.
Queen Salty herself will be back, yes.
Whatever will you guys talk about when she gets back?
Well, we do Salty and Petty. We basically talk about anything.